Welcome back. So if you're an aspiring AI engineer or maybe a startup founder, you already know that building scalable AI applications is just, well, it's incredibly exciting. But there's also this very real fear of just lighting your money on fire in the cloud, right? Well, today we're diving into this explainer, the definitive 2026 guide to building AI on Amazon Web Services, completely for free. We're going to break down exactly what the AWS Free Tier offers for AI builders right now. Let's get into it.
Okay, tell me if you've ever experienced this. You launch a quote-unquote free cloud prototype on a Friday afternoon just to, test out a quick idea. Everything goes great. But then, you log back in on Monday morning only to find a very real, very unexpected build just waiting for you. Yeah, it's a highly relatable Friday to Monday nightmare scenario, and it creates so much anxiety around cloud billing, especially for small teams.
Section 1. The free tier reality, and moving beyond the giveaway.
So to actually stop those surprise bills, we really have to move beyond seeing AWS as just some giant giveaway. It all comes down to operational discipline. You see, a lot of people make the massive mistake of treating the AWS free tier as just one big, single program. But it's actually three entirely distinct buckets. First, you've got always free. This means small monthly allowances that reset every month. But the risk here? Your usage can actually cross that limit really quietly if you're not paying attention. Then you've got the credit-based free plan for new accounts. This gives you temporary credits. But remember, credits do expire, and your spending habits, they carry over. Finally, there are service trials or legacy rules, which totally depend on your account age. This basically means that old blog posts you find might be giving you completely outdated advice. Treating all three of these as one uniform program is exactly how avoidable waste happens.
Section 2. The new credit model and the 2026 rules of the game.
Now, AWS actually made a massive update recently. They shifted new accounts away from those old, kind of confusing piecemeal limits and moved to a highly predictable credit-based onboarding model. And here is the absolute magic number, $200. Under these new rules, if you create a brand new AWS account, you get up to $200 in AWS credits to use across services for a 6-month exploration window. Plus, you get 100 of that right when you sign up. And to unlock that second $100, AWS actually gives you a very specific roadmap. You literally earn an additional $20 for completing each of these 5 specific learning activities. You just launch an EC2 instance, configure an RDS database, build a simple Lambda web app, generate a prompt in Amazon Bedrock, and this one's absolutely crucial, set an AWS budget alert. Do all 5 and boom, you unlock the rest of your credits. It's literally a roadmap to learning the cloud, and they're paying you in credits to do it.
All right, Section 3, Free AI Engineering Tools, or as I like to call it, the AI Toolkit.
This is definitely the most exciting part. Like, what cutting-edge tools can we actually use? Now, while premium tools like Amazon Bedrock aren't in that always free bucket we just talked about, you can absolutely use your $200 in onboarding credits to access this entire state-of-the-art generative AI stack. I'm talking everything from the infrastructure layer with custom silicon, all the way up to Bedrock, where you can access top-tier foundation models from Anthropic, Meta, and of course, Amazon themselves.
And then there's Amazon SageMaker AI. The free tier allowances here are honestly just incredible for beginners. For your first 2 months, you get 250 hours of studio notebooks. You get 50 hours of actual model training on serious, heavy-duty instances like the M4 or M5 Extra Large. Plus, 160 hours of the Canvas visual interface, 25 hours for data prep and data wrangler, and a massive 10 million write and read units in the feature store. I mean, AWS is literally giving you serious enterprise-grade specs to build and train your models without you spending a single dime.
But of course, any real AI project needs massive storage for datasets, right? Well, the free tier gives you access to Amazon S3, which is famous for this exact number, 11, as in 11 nines of data durability. That's 9 more nines%. You get 5 gigabytes of this world-class object storage in the free tier, which is absolutely perfect for your training datasets and model backups.
You also get access to some pretty amazing high-level APIs. Take Amazon Poly, for example, for text-to-speech. They give you up to 5 million characters per month for standard voices and 1 million for neural voices during your first 12 months. And then compare that with Amazon Translate, which offers up to 2 million characters per month for text translation. With limits that generous, you could easily build multilingual voice-activated AI apps, like chatbots or automated narrators, completely within the boundaries of the free tier.
Section 4. Avoiding the EC2 trap, and where the free tier actually fails.
Now, look, it's not all sunshine and free compute here. A free sandbox can turn into a massive invoice literally overnight if you aren't careful. The crucial thing is understanding the most common failure modes. EC2, which are Amazon's virtual servers, is usually the very first thing founders reach for, but it will burn through your margin for error so incredibly fast. And it's not even just the server itself. It's the forgotten attached storage volumes. It's those instances left running over the weekend because somebody thought, oh, we might need it on Monday. It's public IP behavior charges piling up, or just multi-account organizational chaos where nobody knows who actually owns what sandbox. Honestly, a forgotten dev box is the absolute fastest way to blow right through your credits.
So what's the alternative? Well, for small APIs, internal tools, or webhook handlers, serverless architectures are definitely your best friend. AWS Lambda is often way safer simply because idle time doesn't just sit there billing you in the background like a forgotten server can. If nobody is calling your API, Lambda literally scales to zero. It's just a much, much safer bet.
But even serverless requires some attention. Let's ground this abstract fear of costs with a hard number, okay? $144 if you decide to add what's called provision concurrency to a serverless SageMaker endpoint, which basically means you're telling AWS to keep the endpoint warm and ready for traffic constantly. Doing that for just 5 days can cost exactly $144. That one single setting would wipe out most of your welcome credits just like that.
And keep in mind, even the tiny fractions really matter. Look at this rate. $1.25 per million writes in DynamoDB or the SageMaker feature store. I mean, that sounds incredibly cheap, right? But if an engineer runs a load test that quietly spikes usage in the background, millions of writes can happen in a matter of minutes. And those $1.25 charges, yeah, they will pile up instantly.
Bringing us to Section 5, staying free by default and adopting the operator's mindset.
So, to systematically ensure your account stays near $0, you have to adopt what we call an operator mindset. If you're a founder or a lead engineer, this right here is the ultimate question you must ask your technical team right now to reveal the health of your cloud environment. Which resources are running continuously right now? If they can't answer that immediately, you definitely have a problem.
I absolutely love this punchline quote we pulled from the sources. If the answer is we usually remember, expect that answer to show up later on your AWS bill. It's so true. Human memory is simply not a valid cost-saving strategy. You really cannot rely on people just remembering to turn things off before they log off for the weekend. It doesn't work.
Let's contrast these two mentalities for a second. The passive free tier user relies on memory, generic email warnings from AWS, and chaotic sandboxes. But the cost-aware operator? They rely on strict tagging of resources, automatic shutdown policies written into the code, and clear ownership of every single account. You really need to graduate from being a passive user to an active, disciplined operator if you want to survive the cloud.
So here is my challenge to you. You've got the tools, you know about the $200 in credits, you know about the incredible generative AI stack, and the SageMaker allowances that are just sitting there waiting for you. But more importantly, you now know the traps. So, are you ready to build your next AI application with automation, cost policy, and discipline right from day one? Take this new AI toolkit, apply that operator mindset we just talked about, and go build something truly amazing. Until next time, keep learning and keep building.